Hey everyone, Joseph Ransath here. Today I want to share with you a decision-making process that I learned a number of years ago that has allowed me to live an absolutely magical life. But before I do that, I want to share a story with you. And the story is how I got a BMW for free. In fact, you'll see the BMW not only was free, but I made a profit off of this. Back up a couple of years ago, this would have been 2007 or so. This was a time when I was working really hard trying to make a lot of things happen in my business. And I really had a strong desire to go to this weekend workshop with one of my mentors. And it was a time, because of the way things were going with business, that money was really tight. And I was worried. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to spend the several $1,000s for the seminar as well, plus the travel and so forth. As many of you know, I live up in Canada, and the seminar was down in San Jose, California. And what happened is I made a last-minute decision that I would go. So I booked a ticket. I flew down to San Jose with less than a few hours notice, really. I went down without packing any bags, but I got there in time to do some shopping, get some clothes, and then I went to a place that I absolutely love called Jamba Juice. Jamba Juice is just my favorite place in the world. It was like a little bit heaven. And for me, this was in winter. So in December, I was down in San Jose, California, wearing shorts and a t-shirt, enjoying the weather, sitting outside of a Jamba Juice, sipping a smoothie, having the absolute time of my life, thinking life could not be better. This is amazing. And as I'm sitting there taking it all in, an incredible thing happens. I look over in the parking lot and there's this beautiful emerald green BMW 745. And I look at it and I say, wow, that is an absolutely beautiful car. And as I'm looking at it closer, I see a sign in the back window that says for sale. And I said to myself, wow, I would love to have a BMW 745 one day. And I look a little bit closer, and underneath the phone number, it said, ask for Joey. Now, for those of you who don't know, Joey is what my family calls me. And I said to myself, that car was meant for me. I'm going to buy this car. Now, taking into consideration I had reservations about flying down to San Jose in the first place, so buying a BMW was a little unrealistic for me. But there was something there that just said, this is for you. You've got to make this happen. And so I called the person up and I said, I want to buy your car. And I phoned home and I said to my wife at the time, I said, I'm going to buy a BMW. And she said, oh, great, buy a BMW. I think she was used to my crazy antics. And then I called back, or the phone rang a couple hours later, and she had been visiting with my parents and said, you know, Joseph, I don't think you should buy the BMW, and gave me a very long list of all the reasons why I shouldn't. You know, and they were very obvious. There were challenges with bringing the car across the border, and what if I got into an accident, and what if things didn't work out, and all these different reasons. And they were all making sense up here, but really what I was hearing was wah, 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 wah. You know, pardon me, but and so as I was hearing all these reasons, I had this feeling, and I said, hold on one sec. And so I leaned back in my chair and I took the phone away from my ear, and I said, I just closed my eyes and I visualized myself driving this car, this beautiful BMW 745 from San Jose, California, back to Winnipeg. And as I was sitting there visualizing from the present moment into the future of me driving that car back to Winnipeg, I had this incredible feeling in my chest. And I was filled with so much peace and so much comfort. And I knew that it was the right thing to do, even though it didn't make sense up here. And so I said, thank you for the input, but I'm going to buy the BMW. And I hung up. I bought the BMW, Wasn't sure how to pay for it, but I advanced all the money that I needed, and I bought the BMW, only to find out that there were problems with the car. I couldn't get it registered. I had to register it in California. I couldn't bring it across the border. I had to wait 6 weeks to get the title. All sorts of incredible things that just made it absolutely horrible from one perspective of actually having this car. But what happened was I drove the car from San Jose, California to Salt Lake City. And there I had the opportunity to meet an incredible mentor of mine, someone who's very seasoned in business. His name is Greg Fullerton. And I had the chance to spend an afternoon with him in his office, learning about him. One of the greatest public speakers in the country, very accomplished in business, just a fantastic man. Had the opportunity to learn from him. And then, so I decided to leave the car in Salt Lake City, and I flew home to Winnipeg. I posted an ad on Craigslist in Salt Lake City advertising the car for sale. Ended up being able to sell the car for a profit, enough to cover my flights back and forth as well as the weekend seminar. And so as I reflect back, it didn't end up the way that I originally intended it to. But something incredible happened. Everything that needed to be worked out worked itself out. I came out far more ahead than if I would have just used my head alone. And so the process, the lesson that I learned was that logic and reason will carry you only so far. But it's from inspiration that miracles happen. And it's so critical that when we look forward, yes, we can weigh the pros and the cons, and we can get a good idea of what might happen. But the most important thing is that we learn to listen to that voice inside, that we get clarity for ourselves on what it is that we want. As we look forward and visualize, we'll get a very simple confirmation of yes, move forward in that direction because it feels right, or no, move in a different direction. And one thing that I've learned is that anything positive comes from truth. Anything negative is a self-imposed limitation. And so, for example, all of these negative reasons not to do something, those are never really inspiration. If something was coming from inspiration, something was directing us in the right way, it wouldn't come across in a negative of saying, don't do this because of that, but rather it would say, perhaps here's a better reason, here's a positive reason to do a different decision, instead of encouraging you not to do something. And so that process, as you're looking at making decisions, I hope that you'll do the same thing and take the time to block out all the distractions around you, close your eyes and go inside and visualize what you see in the future. Visualize what you see working out and listen. Listen for that little voice of inspiration. It will absolutely guide you in the right path. And as you learn to still out those voices that we create in ourselves, in our head and so forth, and we learn to listen with our heart, with the intuition, with the spirit that's inside of us, you will never ever go wrong. You never need to know the end result. You just need to know that you're on the right path, heading in the right direction. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I hope that you'll be able to implement this same process of closing your eyes and visualizing the future, and listening for the feelings, and letting it guide you into the right direction. And as you do that, I promise you that you'll be able to see miracles happen in your lives that you wouldn't normally see if you just relied on your head alone. But the key is the feelings of peace, the feelings of comfort. You'll never feel nervous or anxious about doing the right thing, about moving in the right direction. You may feel a little apprehension of taking that step of faith, but you'll never feel that's the wrong thing to do. You'll always have that comfort and peace. So I hope that you'll try it, that you'll apply it, and that you'll see those incredible results, and that you'll share them with us. This has been Joseph Ranseth, and I wish you well.